we took a really long time to get pregnant. So it was like a 1.5 year process. So we were definitely overjoyed when we found out that we were having a baby finally. We knew our whole world was going to change, and we were excited for it. So then I got actually a surfactant therapy shot to help open her lungs, thanks to the Marta Dimes, and she was born later that evening by C-section.
So you go to sleep not knowing, the phone was going to ring, and it wasn't the good kind of ring. And a few times that happened, and then there was, one early morning, specifically where she had a really difficult time breathing, and they had to resuscitate her, and you're kind of standing there watching, and it's pretty debilitating, with really an inability to really do anything but just kind of hope and pray and watch.
They give you this prematurity book when you go to the NICU, and I was like, I'm going to read it cover to cover because that's the kind of person I am. And they're like, no, there's things in there that you probably will never need to know about. Don't read it. If there's something that we need you to read, we will. And I was at the hospital alone, and they discovered that she had NAC, which is like this really awful condition that babies only 2 pounds and under get, and it's like an outbreak in the NICU, and there were some other babies that had it. And they were like, now we can tell you can read anything in the book. So that was like the worst feeling ever, that now I've reached the capacity of the worst thing in the book. A really bad period in the NICU, and really elongated her stay to 6 months.
Emma had been in the hospital for almost 6 months.
166 days.
And she was pretty stable by the end. She was still pretty small. She was, just around 5 pounds?
Yeah,
so
I think 5.5 pounds.
She was still smaller than her sister when she was born, and her sister was pretty small.
5'15".
And so Emma was still pretty small, but she was a little cute, adorable little baby, and she came home. We brought her to our apartment. We were living in New York at the time, and it was just long overdue. When Emma started walking independently, for us it was a really big milestone, because it was 6 years in the making. Yeah. I forget how long exactly, but and it was, we were just at a point where one of her doctors had kind of questioned whether that might ever happen, and it was almost, Emma wasn't, I don't even think, in the room when we heard it, but somehow I think she was listening and took that to heart. And I think her walking independently was really a cumulative push of not just our family, but her broader family and her therapeutic family, of everybody for years, collectively kind of doing everything you need to do and all the hard work. And whether we'd go to the museum and practice, we'd go with a walker and practice walking on Saturdays, or we'd go to the mall and practice walking up and down the mall and the ramps and really working out, and everybody would cheer her on, all the people in the stores who knew her. And Emma's she has a magnetic personality, and I think everybody, that magnetism just elicits smiles and support from people who see her, and it really helped, I think, motivate her to get to that point where she does walk into school by herself, and most other places. And I think it just has allowed her to really explore the world in a way that she couldn't otherwise.
But it takes her really a lot longer to learn everything and create a motor plan in her brain of like how to walk, or how to tell your hand to reach the fork and put food in your mouth. So everything from her gross motor to fine motor to oral motor to her speech was delayed, and she reached all of those developmental milestones late. What kept us hopeful is that her therapist always said she reached all the milestones and then made it to the next one. That maybe a typical child, it would take 6 months. For Emma, it took 2 years. 2 years ago, they have a role for a special needs child to be in the Joffrey Ballet Nutcracker, and the child's in a wheelchair but participates in the party scene, and Emma has played that role for 2 years. And the first time Brian and I watched, I know we both had tears in our eyes, that she's such a miracle in all ways, but just that she has the courage to go up there and most kids, typical kids, don't have that courage to get up there, but that she had the courage to get up there and perform in front of everyone was amazing.
It's pretty miraculous she's even here, and her ability to continue to progress and fight through the challenges that prematurity created for her are pretty remarkable.